Okay.
We have access right now, John, to only 4 weeks. And there's subtitles under the 4 weeks. There's another 4 weeks, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
There's a total of 8 weeks. Yeah. And that really is done on purpose, because what we found is that if you release all 8 weeks, first off, people kind of pick and choose.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I mean,
really?
I know what happens to me. I just get totally overwhelmed. And the number one problem that people have is overwhelm, by far. But what I was getting to
That's
before,
a negative word.
what? Say that again.
But that's a negative word that Sherry so kindly pointed out.
That's right. Right. Overwhelmed.
Yeah, overwhelmed. But
I don't use it.
what I was getting to was that what I found is that people really need way more basics. Like, I was talking to someone the other day. I'm like, why are you at 0%? And they were like, well, I can't get on the portal. I'm like, oh my God, we're, week 4. Why didn't you say something? Well, and I said, well, you got to copy, I can't get the password to work. And I'm like, well, you got to copy and paste that. And there was like, pause. And I'm like, she's like, I don't know how to copy and paste. I'm like, oh my God, So, all right. So this is how you copy and paste. Like, for me, I would be completely lost without copying and pasting. I'm such a bad typer, I copy and paste everything. So, I had to start at how to copy and paste. So what I've had to do is really kind of back up the expectations of where this course is going to more basics rather than more advanced. And so that's that's another reason why I'm really trying to take this. I'm trying to take this one step at a time, trying to find out what people really need and how far they can go in 8 weeks, rather than the pie in the sky. Oh, we're gonna be doing all kinds of stuff that people just won't get to. That they just become so overwhelmed already. There are a lot of people are overwhelmed, and so this week we have kind of an easy week on the technical side. On the conversation side, what I've done is I've really divided up the last 3 weeks, the last week, into 3 more weeks. I've taken the pieces and divided them into 3 more pieces. So instead of having 5 steps with the conversation now, there's going to be at least 8. There's 7 or 8. And I have several add-ons that could be done afterwards that if you wanted to do. Like split testing would be, for an example. If it's not going to be part of the core course, but I'm going to have a module on that if you're interested in doing split testing, you can watch the video and do that. So this week was really only a part of the final step, the 5th step, and it's still a big one. It's over 2,000 words, and so that's a lot. It's a lot to digest, and that's what I've really had to keep in mind, is that we really need to people have careers and jobs and all that, and this isn't the full-time thing, a full-time course. So you need to make it in bite-sized chunks so people don't get so far behind that they get discouraged.
Yeah,
right.
That's good.
And
what I try to do is I try to go back.
Go ahead.
Sorry. And review once we've done like the night's class. I try to go back and review that.
And that is the best way to do it. Really, that's how I watch courses, is that I watch it through the first time, and then I go back and I watch it like, I watch a little bit of it, pause it, do the step, then start it again.
And it's like watching a movie. Every time you watch it, you get something different out of it, or you're like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, I never saw that one before. Yeah. Yeah. I know. So
hi, Sherry. She's muted. Did you mute her?
Yeah, I muted her.
Thanks, John.
Probably the cat did.
I was unloading horse feed and shavings, and actually I'm not done yet, so the bug out of here. So I'm kind of scrunchy. But you know what? I wanted to ask you guys, because one of the things that I've been saying to John as we're moving forward with this is that this is a marketing foundation course.
Yes.
That it's like the foundation
Mhm.
for all the rest of your marketing. And how does that resonate with the two of you? I'm just curious. You know, we're talking about words, you know, use of different
Marketing
words. And
foundation.
for me,
Okay. Yeah. No.
versus marketing basics.
Yeah. Foundation.
very
is
true.
Good.
Go ahead, Renee.
No, I think foundation's a good word because when you say foundation, you get a picture in your mind as opposed to the word basic.
Yeah.
What is
True.
basic?
Yeah.
Foundation is something that you
Mhm.
build upon.
Right.
And
I think the
That's right.
emails
so
are definitely a foundation.
Say that again. You kind of cut
emails
out.
The emails are definitely a foundation to all of your marketing. And if you don't know how to consolidate your lists and have something automated to where it automatically puts in the first name or the last name and then automatically sends it out, and I never thought about having 4 different welcoming emails where they would go out at 4 different times and not have something and not have to create it each time, which is what I was doing through MailChimp. And that was very laborious to do that. And so it was really enlightening to know how to pull that all together. That's why, like, I was wondering, like, how long we got a chance to see the videos so that we could review them. And here's a suggestion for your marketing is to come up with some kind of a pricing that they would be downloadable so that we can save them on our computers in case after the year we get like sidetracked or lost and it's like, oh my God, what do I do now? You know, I took this course and I don't remember how to do this specific thing. So that's just a little suggestion.
Well, you know, your remarks there, you know, are like an entire hour's worth of content for me to talk about.
Sorry.
So I greatly thank you for all that. That's like amazing feedback for me right there. But the next
So I
course,
get a big discount on the downloads.
yeah, I'm glad I'm recording this. But just to answer some of these things, the next course is going to be called Online Marketing Foundation. And we are going to be extending the access to the portal and the community and support and all that for like $50 a month, you know. And so if you've taken the course, then you're going to be able to say on, you know, as a part of the Drugless Practitioner Academy's community resources and all that, for, you know, we're trying to make it, you know, as affordable as we can. So, you know, something like $50 a month. We haven't really completely decided on that. We'll kind of take that when we get out about a year, you know, and the first, you know,
Right.
group of people are now getting to that point. But, oh gosh, what was it? There were like 5 things that your comments made me want us to talk about. Yeah, so the next course is going to be called Foundations, Online Marketing Foundations, because Sherry keeps telling it's a foundation. But like that email thing. So to like give you a little bit of more of a view of what's coming the next couple of weeks on the conversation side. You're gonna see. Oh, Deb's joining us. Hey, Deb, how you doing? So on the conversation side of it, this week we're going to be talking about mental triggers. And I've been kind of thinking of it as like this week is like the benefit roundup. It's where you're going to be going back to all the work that you've done and bringing everything forward and putting it all down into a big list, like putting out all the different, the exercise, the action step for this week is really just putting out all the benefits that you can think of, more of a brainstorming thing, just putting them all on one sheet. Everything that you've accumulated over the last couple of weeks is bringing it all forward. Then next week, so this week's content is about mental triggers, and I'm going to tell you about what mental triggers are and how they work, and hopefully that will help you, get some understanding about what mental triggers are and how we can work them in. But then next week is all about the 3 buyers' intentions. And you're talking about, I never had a thought of having 3 different or 4 different emails saying different things. Well, there is a very real process to that. Like, people in the beginning phases have a very different intention and a very different mindset and what they want to hear than people that are in the decision-making process, and then very different from someone who's already been a client. So I'm going to show you the 3 different intentions on the buyer's path, and then we're going to take this big list and we're going to divide them up into those 3 categories. So we're going to create 3 big buckets, and then in each bucket we're going to take and prioritize them. Like, okay, so here are all the comments in the buyer's intentions for the very beginning of the search, which I call like the educating phase, and which are the best ones, and prioritize those. And if there's a sequence, put them in sequences. So then we take that first bucket, and here's the list in that bucket. And then it's amazing. You start taking all those things, the email just kind of writes itself. You just use all those phrases and benefits and stuff that you're used to using and have come up with, and as the research has pointed out and your other clients have said, you can start to see like, oh, there's a real conversation within that bucket. And then you go to the next one and you just organize them from the best to the worst. Get rid of the worst, concentrate on those best. And then, so you'll see that there'll be 3 different buckets of intentions that you'll group everything into. And then I have a format for the 4 emails. So you'll basically see the format, and you'll say, okay, here's the basic structure of what you want to talk about in the email. And then it just really becomes like plug and play. You'll see it will really kind of write itself. I mean, you kind of just do little segues and stuff, but you'll just see how it will really write itself, and it'll be so much easier than you think. Does that help you, TJ?
Yes, it does, and I really appreciate the course. Your next course that's called the Foundation, is it going to basically be this course with another name, or
Yes.
is it another course? Okay, yes, okay. But you are planning to do like another course on top of the Foundation?
Yeah, a more advanced one. Yeah, so if you've taken the advanced one, yeah, you've taken the Foundation one, then there would be the next. Like, for example, our technology is built on the Google platform. The next course would be built on Kartra's platform, where it would include a website, much more automation, much more, another step up technically. And because you have more technical stuff, you have more room for more conversation. But you still need. Go ahead.
Can you have more than one? Can you have more than one website on the web? Like,
you can.
Like, if I have a website and the platform is GoDaddy, can you have another website that would be Kartra?
Yeah, but GoDaddy is just a URL. So you can take that URL and you can point it to whatever web page that you want. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I could take I could buy on GoDaddy tjmallet.com and I could send it to my website. Yeah. So you can take whatever URLs. In fact, you can take a whole bunch of different URLs and point them all to the same page. And that is a specific strategy that
And you can send it to a different page or to a different platform.
Yeah, well, the platform is really like, okay, so there's WordPress and there's
the wrong word. Yeah, I'm using the wrong word.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what did you mean?
Well, I guess you can take your website and send it to another place, I guess is what I should say.
Yeah.
To a different place. And I guess you could send it to 2 or 3 different places, couldn't you?
Yes.
Okay. So that's just good for me for the next course to keep in mind.
Yeah, and you can have several different sources of traffic coming to the same place. So that's what you really need. That's what you really want to do. I'm not a big believer in websites. I mean, websites are fine. They're a good place to send people to get information, but especially for practitioners, you can do just fine having a very basic website of, a home page that really tells all about you. You can have a product page or a page that tells about your modality. You can maybe have some blogs. Blogging, by the way, unless you're really into it, is a huge waste of time. There's a whole movement for 5 years. There's been this whole content marketing thing because the way that blogging actually got started and really took off was because Google was rewarding traffic to blogs that answered very specific questions. Well, now there's so many blogs. There's so many different choices that Google has to make that now so there's 2 traffic. Let's just give you a little background. There's 2 basic philosophies on bringing people to your website, okay? And you really need to choose one and stay with it. You can't do both, otherwise you get nothing. There's either getting paid traffic, in other words, buying ads that send traffic to you. Traffic meaning, people searching or, people looking for you, people answering ads. Or there's free traffic. Free traffic then is, you get to the top of the Google rankings for specific keywords. And keywords like I'm searching for pain relief, 4 bazillion people search every month for pain relief. And so whoever gets to the top of the search for pain relief, they basically get all the traffic. And that's the free traffic. But then you can buy AdWords. You can buy an ad that will automatically go above that, and that you have to pay for. And that's based kind of on an auction system. So the paid way to do it is the way that you can really have a business. The free way that you can do it is just a crap shot. Now, people were using all kinds of different strategies to get there. Blogging is one of those, because you can do blogs that will respond really well and get really high in the rankings. But the problem is, this is why it's not a good business, is that just last year, Google changed the rules over 20 times on what gets to the top. And so there's over 200 different factors that decide who gets to the top. So if there's 200 different factors and they're getting changed 20 times without any notice, so you can spend all this time and everything doing all this work trying to get to the top of Google, and then tomorrow Google changes and you're now on the second page, which means you get nothing. And so you spent all this time and effort and everything getting to the top, and now you're now at the bottom. And it takes a long time to get back up to the top. And then by that time, they change the rules again. It's like, so, and as a practitioner, you know, what keywords are you really going to go after that you can spend so much time writing blogs to that are going to get your website up to the top? There just aren't any. You know, there aren't any. If you really find keywords that really you want to get to the top of, you're much better off at creating an AdWords ad and buying the top position, you know, and then you're paying on every time someone clicks on your ad, you pay some dollars. Okay, so that's a way better strategy. The other strategy really that works the best is really Facebook advertising, and for what we do, practitioners, Facebook advertising is absolutely the best, the cheapest, the easiest to do, and that means you just take a geography, draw a 50-mile radius around where you are, and then you look for special interests, you know, that you can get. So you create an audience around special interests in your geography, and then you do ads. And once you get some ads, you know, you send it to your CRM list and send out emails, and you know, you build a system to respond to those ads. And that is a business, because then you have control over that system. It continues to work while you're not, and you can scale it. It will get to the point where you can actually, you know, and TJ, this is kind of to your point of you know, what's the next step? You know, there's like a gazillion steps after this, but the next step really is not in getting more sophisticated technology. It's really in building a system that is working. That is it. And for you, that system can be very, very simple. It really can be as simple as a Facebook ad that goes to a single web page. You call that a landing page, a single landing page. And in order to satisfy Facebook, you do need to have, you know, a little link to a page that says, you know, about us, and then another one that's real boilerplate about your terms and conditions and your privacy policy. So you have separate pages for that people can link to. But otherwise, you're just basically on a one-page thing, and you may have another page that gives you a lot more detail on your modality if you really want to. But otherwise, it's one-page thing. Here's what I do. Here's where I am. Here's how you contact me. And keep it very focused, because people will look down that and go yes or no, and then you have a call to action. The call to action is either call you, email you, or come and stop in, you know, and that really will work. And then you just developing Facebook. Simple. It works. Yeah. It works better. It works better because it keeps people focused. Right. You know, you want to keep them focused on what you want them to do. And what do you want them to do? You want them to call you. I mean, really. Right. You know, call you. What you're really wanting is their email address. But, you know, you want them to be able to contact you. If you can get their email address, now you've got a much better chance of turning them into a client. If they just land on your website once, you have a teeny tiny chance of converting them, like maybe 0.1%. If you get their email, you probably have like a 3% chance. So that's like a, you know.
John, can you add, if you don't have somebody's email but you have their cell phone, can you tweak it to send out like a mass text message?
Yeah, there are SMS messaging services. Trello. Yeah, Trello is one. You can definitely do that. Yeah. And that is effective, because there are certain people that respond better to texts. And the problem is, so like I'm giving you guys like all they talk about like the basics. I'm giving you like the real you know, philosophies on these different kinds of marketing techniques.
No, but we want to hear that. Yeah.
Okay, so if you see, there's two completely different schools of thought on advertising.
Mm-hmm.
There's the direct mail approach, which is you give somebody a lot of detail. You'll see the ads. The ads have big headlines, sub-headlines, and tons of text. That's some pictures. And then you see, you know, the Coca-Cola ads where you see, you know, someone walking down the street drinking a Coca-Cola at the beach. You know, the direct marketing approach has a specific, you know, a lot of information and a specific call to action. Call me. Used to be, you know, send me a letter, stop into my showroom. It has a very specific call to action that is measurable. Okay, it's measurable. You can say this ad produced this amount of responses. The Coca-Cola ad, you have no idea what is driving that traffic or what's not. You have no idea if anybody even, and that's why it's being used, because the advertising people that really have no idea what they're doing, they produce these beautiful ads that look great. They cost a lot of money, which is how their advertising agency gets paid. They get a percentage of ad spend. And so, you know, these really glamorous things cost a lot of money to produce. Then they can gobble up lots and lots and lots of ad spend. But you have no accountability, no measurability on the response of that. So you really can't say, you know, what's my return on investment of the ad.
Right.
Okay. We do direct marketing, period. I don't do anything unless it's measurable. We don't do anything unless it has a positive ROI. If it doesn't have a positive ROI, I stop doing it. Okay. And I only do stuff that continues to make money. So if you're going to put $1 out, you better get more than $1 in. And if you're putting $1 out and you're getting more than $1 in, well, then it just becomes a mathematical equation of, well, how many dollars do you want to put out and how many dollars do you want to get in? So if you build a system that has a consistent formula, you know, I spend $10,000 in advertising and I get $200,000 of revenue. You know, that was what our Life Pulse formula was. And so, like, okay, so if you spend $20,000 in advertising, do you get $400,000? And, you know, and then how much advertising do you want to do? With practitioners, you know, you really, I would be willing to bet that you can get a very nice flow of customers coming in on Facebook ads in the $20 to $50 a day ad spend. So if you're doing that and let's say you make $100 per customer, for every $20 you spend, you get a $100 customer. You know, if you can get to that, which is very reasonable, then you just say, okay, I'm going to spend, you know, I want to make $20,000 this month. So, you know, how much do I need to spend in advertising? And if you're making $80 for every person that walks in the door, how many people do you want to walk in the door? And then it becomes a formula. That's the next step. That's really where you want to take this, not building a whole bunch of stuff, you know, of marketing stuff, you know, because that's just for the people that are selling the marketing. What you really want to do is you want to build a very tight system that works. And then feed it.
Yeah. Because if you put it out there in too many different places, doesn't that like water it down? And then after a while, people don't pay attention.
The world's too big for that now.
Yeah. I
mean, this is, you know, you have a small market because geography, but even within your 50-mile radius, I'll bet you have a 50-mile radius of people. We can do a Facebook ad, a Facebook audience, and find out exactly how many people are in that group.
Yeah.
And then you keep. So what you do is that so then you get that audience, and then you get other audiences from the people that respond to you. And then you can do what's called a lookalike audience. So you can be constantly finding new audiences as you find new interests that are, so say for example, you know, if you have 1,000 clients, you can put that list of 1,000 clients. Like TJ, you've got all these people that are, you know, you've got a pretty substantial list. We'll do is we'll put that into Facebook, and then we'll do what's called a lookalike audience. And they take all those people that are in there, and they'll say, oh, here's what the profile of interests are that make up your group. Here's what your tribe's interests look like. And then they go, oh, okay, now in your geography, we can find all those other people that have those similar interests that are not on your list. That's called a lookalike audience. And so then you can just take your audience and just basically multiply it, you know.
Right.
And then you want to get a message, a picture, and an audience. You get those three things, and you just keep moving them around till you find the ones that work. When you find the one that work, you just duplicate it.
Gotcha. That makes sense. It's like the Fabergé commercial and so on. The old hair commercial.
I don't know.
You don't remember that?
No.
I'm showing my age.
I'm probably older than you.
I don't think so. Maybe not.
I'm 60.
Oh yeah, you are a little bit.
You guys
You're a couple of years older. Well, you guys look awesome. But,
Thank you.
Yeah, you know.
God, it's 8 o'clock already, and we haven't even played a video yet.
Oh, that's right. Okay, let's get to
Sorry, that was my fault.
No, this is a great conversation, and thank you so much for your ideas. It was a really great feedback. So let's do a video. Which one do you want to do first? Do you want to do the conversations first, or do you want to do the Facebook, connecting up Facebook?
Maybe the conversations first.
Okay. Which one do you like doing better, the conversations or the technical one?
Oh, I'm the conversation person. Technology comes second to me. Always.
I like them both. No, I like them both. The technology is harder for me. So I like learning about that.
Yeah.
But both of them are necessary. So it doesn't matter which one comes first.
Right.
But,
it doesn't.
you know.
It's just what, I'm more comfortable with one than the other, obviously. But
Deb, you're muted, but which one do you like better?
Self-care.
I just unmuted you. What was that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, technology is, I'm working on it, but it pushes my buttons, for sure, big time. But, so yeah, I'm definitely more on the creative side and, yeah.
Yeah, I think most practitioner people tend to be more challenged on the technology side and are prefer to work on the conversation.
I find that more with a certain age group that we're, that are more. Well, I'll speak for myself. More technically challenged though than like my kids are. My kids being in the 30s, the 30-year-olds. They, boom, boom, boom. And I look at my grandnieces and nephews at 6 years old, and they're like, oh, I can do that. And I'm like, kids are just growing up with it.
Yeah.
But ask them to write in cursive, and they don't know how to do it, So it's all relevant with what you grow up with.
Yeah. My son, he does stuff on his phone. It's like where do you figure this stuff out? I don't know.
Yeah. Because they sit and play with it all day.
But he can't tell you how to do it. Here, give me your phone. I got to do it. He can't tell you how to do it. But
yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna let's see. Share. Hello and welcome to Online Marketing's Creating Your Client Conversation.
Yes.
This is step 5, mental triggers. So hello and welcome back to step 5 of the continuation of creating your client conversation. To recap our strategy, what we want is to unify your marketing message across all your online marketing assets, like your website, social media, and email marketing. So you educate and engage the prospect as they go down the buying path. So you do this by creating a conversation that offers insight about their core issue and activates many mental triggers, which helps position you as the obvious choice in their search for a solution. After you've educated and engaged the prospect during the sales process, you'll provide an offer that's superior to your competition and use scarcity to help them become your client. So that's the strategy. Now, how do you do that? Now that you're really clear about your persona and your client's persona, the next step is to answer this key question. How does your solution uniquely solve your client's core issues? The overall foundation to the conversation is to talk about how your service or solution solves your client's core issues, challenges, or pain. So get out your notes from step 3, and we want to record all the different ways you solve your client's needs onto one document. Don't be concerned if they are unique or not, or in any particular order. The idea here is to get them all on a Word document or Google Doc so we can sort them in the next step. Most practitioners are talking about their modality and their specifications, or what you do. If you can elevate your conversation above this, you'll find tremendous transformation with not only increased sales, but with a much happier and passionate client. When you're creating your message for a marketing campaign, it should always start with the understanding of the client's core problems, issues, or struggles. Then you offer your unique solution to their problem in a way that educates them or gets them thinking differently about their issue, like you hopefully did in step 3. A key goal in your client conversation is providing some insight for your client. This should be something new and valuable about their life in a way that leads to your unique strengths. It's no longer enough to talk about the value of your solution, but you need to articulate the unique value your solution provides that will solve your client's core issues. Many practitioners struggle with this, as a recent statistic showed only 14% of companies' so-called unique benefits were perceived by their clients as both unique and beneficial. To help you understand your unique benefit, this is why we spent so much time on step 3 in understanding you and your competitors' strengths and weaknesses. When crafting a conversation, it's most beneficial to use the psychology of selling to activate mental triggers to help them move through the process. While there are many mental triggers that can be used, here's a list of some of my favorites. We'll use these mental triggers in our Welcome series, but for now, it's good to understand them to use these different triggers to stimulate ideas about how you can structure your conversation and lead the prospect down the buying path so they'll see you as the obvious choice when they're ready to be your client. So the first mental trigger is likability. The likability factor has become one of the biggest advantages small businesses have over large and personal corporations. The simple fact that people like doing business with people they like. And in this age of ever-increasing digital communications, we're all looking for an increased connection and authenticity. We are big believers in this, as our Experience Marketing PMF under our Life Pulse brand. We found that likability was a huge factor in our success, as many of our clients felt like they knew us and were friends. So the next mental trigger is authenticity. I'm not really sure if this is a mental trigger, but we feel it's one of the most important elements to a successful campaign. And we've done testing that shows that it alone can double your sales. It should also be built into your persona. And I'm mentioning it again here. Authenticity shows your real self,
your secret sauce. Everyone has this, but few know what it is, and even fewer remain loyal to it. Clients love it and may be the single biggest factor in success. So if you get this one thing right, it will transform your business and even your life. So know your authentic self and trust it to resonate with your best clients. Community. Community is a very powerful mental trigger, as people value being part of a community very highly, and they try very hard to act in accordance with how they think the people in the community are supposed to act. In our business of helping people become a PMF practitioner, one of the most compelling differentiators for us was the community of international practitioners Sherry created. People love being a part of something cool. And anytime you can create a community of like-minded people, it'll become a great, unique benefit that will help your sales tremendously. Events and rituals. People love events, and when you can turn a marketing activity into an event, you instantly make your marketing magnetic. Like community, it makes them feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. This is one of the reasons why people get so caught up in their sports team. A big part of this trigger is the idea of ritual. When people go through an event, it becomes something of a ritual, and people love rituals. This is what religion taps into and what people crave. When you can incorporate ritual and make your marketing an event, you will transform your client's buying experience. Social proof. Like community, people are social creatures, and when they're unsure of what to do, they like to act when they see other people acting. The whole social media thing is proof of the popularity of social proof. Look how a restaurant can be transformed when they get top ratings from Travelocity. This is also a key way small business can outmarket the big ones, because it takes a personal touch to engage in social media and create visible social proof. We used Facebook to record the tremendous miracle stories our PMF product provided and had great success. If you just use your Facebook to post client success stories, the effort will be exponentially seen in sales. Trust. It's obviously easier to sell something if they trust you. Imagine a friend recommending you a product. In these days of fake everything, many people are justifiably skeptical about online marketing claims. So how do you break through this barrier of trust? One of the ways is time. When someone sees your performance over a period of time and really gets to know you, it's easier for them to trust you. Also, seeing proof in client testimonials is a good way to build trust. But trust must be real, and it's a bridge you can only burn once. Trust must be earned, and when you have it, it can make all the difference in the sales cycle. Reciprocity. The concept of reciprocity is that someone will feel obligated to give back to you if you give them something of value for free. One of the major ways you can differentiate you from your competition is to give away a real, meaningful advice that will add value to their life. It also helps build trust and establish you as an authority. When you go through a series of giving and receiving, reciprocity builds up and resistance to a sale is reduced, making the close much easier. Authority. People tend to follow people in authority, some more than others. Me, not so much. We often look for others to guide our decision, and following other people with authority helps us shortcut the decision-making process. Doctors do this subtly when they wear their white coats and surgery scrubs. I always laugh when I see chiropractors wearing the scrubs. But it does give you the impression that they're a doctor, even though they probably weren't just in surgery. In your practice, one way to create authority is for you to get your clients to do things and get them to move. With horses, it shows superiority if you can get them to move their feet. It's the same with people. It's subtle, but this is one of the reasons why doctors have the process that they have when getting you to fill out the forms and wait in the waiting room and then move to the exam rooms and then take off your clothes. By the time the doctor comes into the office with their white coat, You're so mentally ready to accept them as authority, they could tell you anything and you'll believe them. This is not an accident, and you should develop similar steps to establish yourself as an authority in your practice. If you want to be more influential in your practice and marketing, it pays to be recognized as an authority. And the good news is that it's surprisingly easy to establish yourself as an authority. Scarcity. Scarcity and discounting are probably the most commonly used and abused. I'm not a big fan of scarcity because so many times it's fake scarcity, like withdrawing a discount after so much time has elapsed. The problem is we must do business after the time has expired, and if the clients let time go by, now you're really swimming upstream. With that said, real scarcity is very effective as people love to procrastinate, and scarcity can really help push them to decide. You can make scarcity work for you in a more subtle way by having a limited number of new appointments. You can add phrases like, "We are accepting new clients for a limited time," and then making very specific appointments for times like 2:45. And then not say that you're available anytime. These kind of things establish you as an authority. While this is just a short list of mental triggers, it's some of the more powerful ones you can use when creating your conversation with your client. Many of these triggers can be used in combination and layering. For example, trust and authority go hand in hand. It's easier to establish authority when you have trust. Generally, when you start the conversation, you want to start with a powerful piece of content that will help you start the reciprocity and establish you as an authority. As you progress, you can show social proof and develop a marketing event that begins to establish a community. And as you go toward the close, you introduce scarcity and hopefully have established some trust and authority that will ease the resistance to close. As you can see, there are many combinations of sequencing and layering of mental triggers that can contribute toward a successful conversation. Because everyone does not respond to the same triggers in the same way, it's important to use the layers and sequencing to build the triggers in a way that creates an irresistible promotion. As you move the client through the sales process, you'll see how important regular communication is when using the sequencing and layering of mental triggers and building rapport with your prospective client. This is when the importance of an automated email sequence becomes most beneficial. Hopefully, understanding this overall strategy can help you understand what you uniquely offer your clients. So for this step of the course, the important points to think about as you list your benefits include: create your story by talking about what you want and about how your unique value will help solve your client's core issues. Tell your story in your own authentic persona. Provide insight for your client that's something new and valuable about their life in a way that leads to your unique strengths. And activate mental triggers to help you build trust, authority, reciprocity, to help them move the client through the sales process, and overcome objections and reduce the resistance to moving forward. Creating an irresistible offer using scarcity and the unique benefits in addition to discounting as an incentive to act now. So the action step for this week: before we create your client conversation in the form of a 4-email welcome series, I want you to start writing down specific ways you solve your client's pain, issues, challenges, or worries. In this exercise, don't be concerned if they're unique or not. We're looking for a list that we're going to group and prioritize in the later steps. For now, what we want are all the thoughts you've generated from all the previous steps onto one document. So most importantly, keep the momentum going and write down what you've learned right away. This is more brainstorming and not perfecting yet. So don't procrastinate or worry about having the perfect wording, although you will want to record the best ways of saying your message. These small steps toward your goal can be corrected along the way, so it's way better to do this now than waiting until it's perfect. So thanks for continuing on our journey to create your client conversation. I'll see you on the next video where we're going to group these benefits into the buyer's 3 stages of intentions. So thanks a lot.
All right. So what did you guys think of that?
Right.
Oh, that was good. I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, TJ.
On the social proof, where it says post client success stories, is that written by me or by the client?
Preferably by the client, but if it's by you, that's okay too, as long as they're true. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you can.
Well, the success story would be like a recommendation from them, wouldn't it? If it's going to be a success story. I mean, you know how hard it's going to be to get clients to write a success story?
Well, you have phenomenal success stories on your website.
Yeah.
So
well, those are reviews.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, a success story can really be, you know, I was hurting before I came in. I came in, TJ worked on me, and now I feel light as a feather. You know, that's a success story for sure.
So I would just have them go to my Facebook page, business page, and ask them to write a post that would state that how they felt, right?
Or a review, or they can send you an email, right? If they can send you an email, you know, if
I
you
can copy and paste.
Yeah, then you can copy and paste. Yeah. Yep. So,
Okay.
I mean, Renee, we use your testimonial, and we use Veronica, yours all the time.
Yeah, I mean, people's testimonials, I mean, that's the best way for sure. People want to hear what other people have to say, you know, and if you feeling awkward about asking people at times, you can say, look, you know, I'll give you a small discount if you write me a really nice testimonial. And most people are, you know, if they're a little but you give them a little something in return, they'll be like, okay, sure.
Yeah,
So,
and
you know, I just
the-
wanted the clarification of the words that you used, success stories. So if success stories equal reviews, I have no problem. The question is clarified.
Yeah. What I do is if someone is looking for a discount, then you can say, well, you know, we can do a discount. We do discounts in exchange for, you know,
Right.
if you have a really good experience, we would love to hear about it on my Facebook page. Or you got to really like tell them exactly where they want to go. You know, otherwise they won't do it. The other really amazing thing, some people just completely clam up. But, you know, everybody has their phone with them, and afterwards they're like, oh, gosh, pull your phone out, just start videoing it. Just ask them a question. So how was that? You know, and then some people will do really, really well. Some people will do horribly. So you just take the good ones. You don't need that many really good ones, you know.
Right.
I've had people just give me like a gushing, you know, compliment, and then I try to get my phone on, and because Sherry's always going, "Oh, did you get that on the, you know, why don't you get that on the video? Get that on the video." So I'm like, "Okay, hold on, wait a minute, just say that again," and they're like,
You can't repeat it. It's hard. That's stage.
"Oh, it was nice," you know. So, yeah, but that's really where social media is really all about. That's where really is success is by, you know, posting stuff that was, you know, success stories, you know, feel good stories, things that, you know, you did that and it's so much more powerful if they're saying it, because then it's in their words. And, you know, now I don't put Sherry, when we go out and stuff, she's always looking at the reviews. I don't put any weight in reviews at all, because I know that there are some people that are just wacky that will always, it could be the best experience it could be the best restaurant in the world, and they didn't like the water. I mean, and then there are people that just write good reviews. We went to this one place coming back from Colorado, and it was the Hidden Gem. It was amazing. Oh, it was like the worst restaurant we've ever been to. So I think we really think their relatives went and got on Travelocity and wrote the reviews for them.
John, wait, am I on here? First of all, it's TripAdvisor. It's not Travelocity.
Yeah, sorry.
And second of all, that was rare. That was rare. And what I found, yes, I mean, okay, it was so bad, you guys.
Reach it, Mama.
It was so bad, and he was so hungry, and we're doing this intermittent fasting thing where it was our only meal of the day, and it was so, and honey, it was in Kansas, and the wind was blowing straight across the cornfields with little stinging, snow flurries, and oh my God, and we think we're stepping into like this little haven, and it was, I don't even know what it was. It was so,
and then we
horrible.
drove by,
and everybody was
like 40 good restaurants after that.
Oh my God, the Hidden Gem. But what I will say is, generally speaking, just to say with the review thing, is there's usually a trend. Yes, there's always people, tend to post something more negative than positive, but there's always a trend. There's always some negative, there's always some positive, but there's usually a trend. The Hidden Gem, John, Let It Go, was unique on that. But
I have to say,
something like a practitioner, go ahead.
I said I have to say, I think for practitioners, if you have a really compelling series of testimonials and a really strong social media presence, that probably is way more valuable to send traffic to than a static website.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, way more valuable, because people will look at that and they'll be like, wow, I love this person, I'm going to go. Versus your website's kind of like,
well,
this is what
that was the amazing thing about Life Pulse, and one of the really sad things about being forced to take our Facebook page down, because people would say to John over and over, oh my God, I looked at your Facebook page. And I mean, people said that just as much as they said about our website. Wouldn't you agree, John? I mean, it was, and what I did was I would just share all the wonderful stories from all the practitioners, all their success stories, all their testimonials, all their positive reviews. That's what I shared. And so that's really proof of John's concept there, because people really resonated with that.
But the crazy thing,
what it did? I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
Wait, let me just finish. It made it seem real. Okay, this is different than like a restaurant. If you're doing, cranial sacral therapy, or you're doing PMF therapy, there's still that little bit of question, like, what is that real? Is that real? But when they see person after person, expressing their experience, it really gives you the trust and the confidence and the authority factor that John was talking about. So that's what's so, and you know what? Don't be afraid to ask, because generally speaking, I find there's many times that I've had really good experiences, and I intend to go on that person's Facebook page and write something or send them an email, and then our lives get busy and we forget. And so, I put out a whole messaging people asking, for testimonials for us, and it's amazing how many people wrote back and like, oh my God, yes, I will do that. And I never got anything for them. So I'll get around to messaging people again. But I do think people
They
You
won't.
know,
if
if
you
they've had a
don't
good
do-
experience.
Yeah, if you don't ask, they won't do
Go
it.
ahead.
I mean, unless it's really bad. If you don't ask, they won't do it. But what you can do,
Yeah, unless it's really bad. Yeah.
unless you really piss them off. But this is what I do. Like, we go to this restaurant, Chalices, and they have these little chocolate things, and the Olive Garden, they have their little Andes candies. And I kid the waitresses, and I say, I tip based on how many chocolates I get. And, you know, you'll get people, and it's a joke, you know, sort of. But but you'll get some waitresses, they'll just give me tons of them. I mean, like, we had this one waitress gave me a whole bowl full of them.
For each one, you add a 0 to the tip, right?
Yeah, I said, like, hey, I tip based on chocolates that I get. And like, oh, here's a handful of them. But you can kind of joke around with that, with say, you know, I actually do a better job with people that give me great reviews, you know, like, you know, I mean, TJ, you could say, well, you know, you can say it in a joking way. It's, you know, some people can pull it off, some people can't. You might not feel comfortable doing it, but it's kind of a way just to throw that out there of like, yes, I would love to get a review from you. And actually, I'll do a better job if you give me one. But, you know, and they know you're joking, but, you know, it's just a funny way to say it. If you don't put it out there, what's that?
I would never joke saying that, because sometimes what I have found is that when people joke, they actually are hiding behind that joke.
There's a little too much truth in that.
Yeah, and I would not ever want somebody to ever think that I'm not giving them my best each time. So, no, I would just be very sincere and say, I need your help. And I would like to have you do this, which I just sent out a request today. I gave somebody a lot of information of different practitioners, referrals, doctors, etc., and a whole lot of information that she could use. And she had a really great appointment today. And I sent her the Google link asking her if she would please help me and leave a review on Google.
That's great.
So we'll
great.
That's great.
That's great.
But, you know, based on the
You know,
reviews that I saw from you, TJ, I don't think anybody would ever think that you do nothing but like your absolute most. So even if you were joking around. See, like, but I could kind of pull it off, you know, but, you know, maybe other people don't.
I don't know. I just wouldn't want
but
to
some
take
people,
I know. That's why I said some people probably couldn't do it, but
that's the difference about fine tuning everything to your own persona. You know?
right.
the point is though, if you don't ask, your chances go down to really, really small numbers. If you ask, you know,
0 if you don't ask.
yeah, you're probably going to get some if you ask. And if you also have to ask, but you also have to be like, you know, tell them how they can do that on my Facebook page, on my website, and send me an email, you know, do a video right now, or, you know, you have to like say, this is what I want you to do. And then they'll do it. If you kind of leave it up to them, they're like, they forget about it. So anyway, on the mental triggers, did those mental triggers like stimulate anything where you think of different ways that you could have a conversation and different things that can be brought out?
Absolutely. I mean, when we went over that whole list, every picture that I got in my mind was when we went to the training that you and Sherry did a try on. I mean, it was like textbook, you know. I mean, following those steps absolutely drew everybody in. Everybody felt like a family. Everybody trusted, you know. It was amazing. And you were able to move people, and you were authentic. I mean, authenticity is like major for you guys. And people related to that. I mean, this maybe doesn't have a whole lot, well, it does have to do with it, but it's specific to PMF. I look at stuff now and you know, that Pulse Equine does, and I'm just like, it's cold. It's cold. It's a cold company. Before it was different.
Yeah, and we don't want to get into that.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying.
But no,
the authenticity and everything that you talked about. Yeah, I mean, it's like you hug the people around you, kind of like.
Yeah. The whole authority thing, for practitioners,
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, each one of you, I would be willing to guess that may be a challenge for you, and yet it's a technique. You know, it's not a personality trait; it's a technique. Would you feel bad if you knew that a horse feels comfort from you when you become the boss and start moving them around? No, you would say, okay, I'm gonna do the treatment, and I'm gonna move. I want you over here. I'm gonna move you over there. It's the same thing with people coming into your office. They get a better sense of comfort if you have a process and you move them through the process. And when you do that, you get authority. And it's just funny how
John,
that happens.
you're missing. We like to call it the experty thing. It's an experty thing.
Is that the technical term?
That's the technical term. It's an experty thing because and what, okay, there's that, okay, what's that quote by, what's her name? I can't, Roosevelt or whatever, you know, no one makes you feel inferior without your consent, right? No one makes you feel inferior without your consent. It's the same thing with the confidence that you present. And the funniest is Sam and I always laugh about this, that back when we lived in Wisconsin, we sold Sam's first pony to this mother and daughter that had just bought an equestrian center. And what had they done at that point? I don't know. I don't know. They had some lame trainer coming in that literally would have their daughter ride with straight arms, and it was just ridiculous. Cindy had been like a nurse, right? Well, through us, they learned about the sport of eventing, which I don't know if you all aren't horse people or well, I don't know, TJ, you did standardbreds and stuff, but you know, eventing is like the triathlon of riding, and Sam was very competitive, ended up training with the O'Connors, Olympians and everything. Well, within 6 months, Cindy, the mom, is eventing and is billing herself as an eventing trainer. Okay, now this is kind of a funny story because this is a place where this was somebody that had no credentials, no experience, nothing behind. You guys have all this behind you, and I tell this story because she just put out the experty thing, and she had clients. She was so.
But you don't.
That's a funny story about somebody who had nothing, had to back it up. You guys all have the education and experience, is what I'm saying, to back it up. And you do have a lot of knowledge. You do have a lot of experience. You just have to figure your own way of presenting it. Our daughter Sam, who, I mean, she is just like John, just gifted in this whole PMF thing. And she was like terrified to like do our jump starts. And then once we would get her talking, it was just like, it was amazing. And what her and John created together. And then she gained confidence and got the experty thing. So it really is, the authority thing is just really you having the confidence in that ability to provide whatever you're providing. Yeah. And so,
but you don't.
As usual, I made it long-winded, but.
But you don't have to come at it with the experty attitude. And then that's kind of the point that I was trying to make, is that you don't have to have that attitude. You can become an authority with an extremely humble, kind of a low self-esteem way. But if you follow certain things like moving them around, having a process, putting out really great content, being extremely knowledgeable, you will develop the authority. Talk about showing your age. You remember that Detective Columbo,
Peter
You know,
Falk.
He would fumble around in this old wrinkly up raincoat and like, and he was like, he would like textbook do things wrong, but yet he still was this amazing detective. And
He was a hot
after you
mess, but
watched
a
him a
good
little
detective.
while, you would know, hey, this guy is really an expert at what he's doing, even though he's fumbling around. So just by doing simple things like having a process, and when people come in, making them do certain things creates the expert thing, or that gives you that authority thing, without being, the attitude of know-it-all and all that. So you can definitely do it without the attitude. But so anyway, the other, this kind of goes, that's why I separated them. They're kind of similar, but they are different than the things we did last week, which was the storylines. Mental triggers really are subconscious things that get you to do stuff, whereas storylines is really kind of, how the story flows. So now next week we're going to talk about the 3 different intentions of a buyer. And now this week is all about your thing and how you project it outward. The next week it's all about the client and what they're thinking and projecting back to you. And these are all really just different perspectives on how you can tell your story, and different ways that you can, I'm trying to do is just pull content out of you, and then after next week we'll like sift it all into buckets. So did you guys get the whole idea about, the action step and what you're really supposed to do this week?
I'm going to go back and look at it because it went by too fast. So I have to go back and look at the video again.
But basically what I want you to do is just go back over the last couple of weeks and pull out all the different ways that you solve your customers' problems. All right. And I want you to write down things that your clients have said to you, things that your customers have said, or your competition has said, things that you have said, all the, and go and look at your testimonials, and go and look at your website, all the different ways that you've seen. And I actually just did this, and it was really effective. I wrote down all the different, and you can be basically saying, oh, I do PMF, but you can be coming at it from many different angles. It's pain relief. It accelerates healing. It improves your immune system. Those are different angles that coming at from the same way. So I want you to write each one of those things down and put them onto a document that we can then sort. And don't be concerned about whether or not you think it's good, bad. Try to come up with the best ways that you can say things. Try to come up with objections that you hear all the time and how you handle those. You absolutely want to have those on there. And try to come up with like the stories that you tell, the things that you say on a repeated basis. What I'm doing is trying to get you to write down all the different angles and lines, and in Xerox they call them talk tracks, which I always hated that term, but this is my talk track on that, blah 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 blah. And so all these little canned speeches that you say, all those things we want to get down into a big list. And like I said, this is like brainstorming. This is not, worrying about, is this said perfectly or not? I don't care if it's said perfectly, because what you're going to do ultimately is prioritize, and then like, oh, okay, that's one way of saying it that I don't really like that much. It goes to the bottom of the list. But what you're going to end up with is the top of the list may have a little seed from that stuff down in the bottom. So when we get to the top of the list, you're going to see, oh, wow, these are things that I say all the time that really are working. And that's going to become like the basis of our conversation. Okay. So you see, you'll see how it will kind of all come together. We're really we've been looking at little pieces, but in the end, the pieces will all form the big puzzle. So
kind of cool with the formula of doing that. You know, it's kind of like putting all different size pebbles in a funnel and see what falls to the bottom, you know,
Yep.
and
Yep.
keep that.
Yep.
So it'll be kind of fun actually to do it.
Yeah, it's a great exercise. It's a great exercise. You know, it's it's kind of the sister to the exercise of finding your niche.
Mm-hmm.
And we did this is that, you know, one of the ways that you can find your niche is by writing down all the things that you like to do. You know, everything that you can think of that you like to do, any kind of interest that you have, anything that you like, just write it down. You know, just try to get at least a full page of things. First time I did that, actually, I only could come up with like 2 or 3. It was like a real eye opener with me. I was like, holy cow, I don't even know how to have fun anymore. I'm like, man,
I need to get out there.
when did I get so old? You know.
That vacuum.
Sherry used to have this thing of the. She should have wrote a book on this because a movie came out and they called it the bucket list. But she had 50 things. When I first met her, she was like, I'm writing this list of 50 things that I want to do before I die, and I like wrote my list. I had like 6 things on it, you know, and Sherry had like 700, you know.
72. My list of 50 things has 72.
It was supposed to be a list of 50 things. She had 72. Yeah, I had like 4. I think I had 4 or 5 or 6 or something like that. Yeah, and I really. But what you'll do is you'll write all these things down, and then you'll see these groups of things. This is really how I came up with this whole business. It's like what I really found out that I really enjoyed doing was helping people grow their own business, and I really love marketing, and we love traveling, and we loved, having all these practitioners that we were supporting. It's like, wow, I wonder if we could have a business doing all of this, you know. And that's kind of what happened. This is what it is. And then next thing you know, you're in a Zoom meeting.
John.
Yes.
So once you did your list, then how did you go, you know, your bucket list or whatever, your list of all the things you like, then how did you filter it down and narrow it down from there?
Good question. So the progression is you write down this list, and you really need to be free flowing with that, not limiting at all. Let it just flow out. Some things maybe you don't like at all, or you like a little bit, some things you love. Then you will start grouping things, like things that have commonalities to them, and you'll see clusters of things that you like. And so what you end up doing is that the things that have big clusters that you feel really strongly about, those you pay attention to. Like that's where your centers of energy are that have some power over you. And so then those are things that, you know, maybe you can turn into a business. The biggest key is, so you take those groups of things and you say, okay, based on these groups, are there needs there that can be fulfilled with that interest? Like our first go at this was really with law of attraction for business. And I like, well, we love law of attraction and I like business. And so we started law of attraction for business, and we found out there's tons and tons of people that are interested in law of attraction. But there really isn't a need that was strong enough that could make it a business. So it was not like something that I didn't really solve a strong enough need where people would go, yeah, I'm going to pay money to do that. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, that's kind of interesting, but had no traction. So that's that's the next step. This is the same way, because what we're going to do is we're going to go through that list that you're going to put together, and you're going to start judging those things based on, how effective they are to your clients. How do they motivate them to move to the next step? And where are they in the next step? So next week, we're going to talk about what are the 3 steps that people go through from I have no idea I have this problem to I want to be your client. And there's 3 very specific intentions that they go through and there's actually more like 5, could be even more, but there's really 3 specific ones. And then we're going to group those comments into those 3. And then we're going to say, okay, out of those 3, let's look at each one of those things that you're writing about and say, well, what are the good ones? What are the okay ones? What are the bad ones? What do we want to include? What we don't want to include? And you start crossing things off, and you start highlighting things that are working. And pretty soon you're going to have these ones will rise to the top. And you're like, okay, these are the things that I really want to talk about the most. Do they really resonate with me and the why that we established in the beginning? Do they really resonate with me, or are they not what I want to do? We had a great business with Life Pulse, but I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't want to be someone's,
minion.
Yeah, minion. Yeah, I didn't want to be under someone's thumb. And so that took that out of there. It was like, okay, so when you compare it to your why, this is why we ask what your why is first. And then so then it resonates with my why. Now, does it really solve your customer's core problems in a way that's strong enough where they're going to pay money to do this for you? If it's not, you take it off the list. If it is, you move it up. And then how does that compare to your competition? Do you have a competition out there that is just doing it way better than you could ever possibly do it? Or could you possibly be doing this better than anybody else out there? What you're really looking for, like the amazing thing, is if you find that gem that says, this is something that really resonates with me. It really is strongly motivating for my clients, and it's something that I can do better than anybody else out there. If you can find that, you have a gold mine. Just right there. That's the nugget of gold that we're all looking for, to be able to do something better than anybody else. And everybody has very, very unique capabilities. You all have that amazing talents that nobody else can do. The question is that we need to find it, bring it out, and see how it is in the context of your business. And you may find that there's something out that's out there that you absolutely love doing, that you really could be the best in the world at, that you're not giving yourself permission to do. And, we've had people that like, oh yeah, this is, I really want to be doing that, but I don't feel I can make any money at it, or I don't feel whatever, So it can be a very powerful, very revealing exercise, but in the end, it will really help you just really crystallize what your message is.
Right.
And will help you develop your really true, authentic voice if you do it right. So, does that sound good?
Yes.
And then we've done it now. We've done it many times. At least 5 times we've had to do it. At least. So, and actually the first 3 we probably really didn't even know what we were doing. So.
Well, what's interesting is by doing it like this, it's going to give you probably answers that you had no clue as to how to put the conversations together.
It's one of the very interesting things is to see how it works for you.
Yeah.
It's a great process. It's not a new process. It's really kind of a combination of, like, several different, marketing, spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
it's really kind of a combination of a bunch of different people that have influenced us over the years.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right, so God, we only have 15 minutes left. I better get to this last one. This is how you tie your Facebook Facebook in. Whoop.
Hello.
Oh, I got lost there.
This is John Golitz, and welcome to the tutorial on how to link your Facebook business page with your Google Sheets and get a email from your Facebook business page. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to your Facebook business page. Make sure you're on that, not your personal page. And you're going to see there's a little button right here, Send Message. And we're going to change this button. So you just click on this button, hover over this button, and it's going to say Edit Button. That's what you want to do. We want to make it so that they email you. So click on Contact You, and you want to have them send you an email. And then you click this little Send Email button, and you click Next. And now we want to add the email address, and for Samantha it's Tryon, PEMF @gmail. But for you, it's whatever the specific email is that's tied to your Google Sheets and Google Drive account. So make sure you have the right email address, and you click Save. And it says your button is Send Email, and it's configured, and you push Finish. And that should do it, but we always want to test the button. Okay, so now we have Samantha's Send Email button set up, and we're going to test it. So we just hover over this, and it says Test Button. Click on that, and the email opens up in my email program, which happens to be Outlook, and has already addressed the Tryon PMF in Gmail. And the caption reads, Note from Samantha Chody to your Facebook page, Tryon PMF for horses, dogs, and people, Samantha Chody. And it's asking us 3 questions. So we can put these 3 fields into our Google Drive Sheets CRM list, and then have Zapier automatically fill those in. So we're going to test this out. So we'll put in your name, we'll put my name, and phone number. And our question. How about, does this work? And then we'll push Send. And now we're going to go to Samantha's email and see if the email has been received. And here it is. All right. Your name, phone number, does this work? So now what we're going to do is we're going to get Zapier to automatically fill these names in, this question, these names, this question, and phone number in on our CRM list. So that's a quick little tutorial on how to change this little button on your Facebook business page so that it will send you an email that then gets recorded into your CRM list and automatically has an email sent out to the people that are requesting information. So this is the first part of our list builder process, and tying your Facebook business page into your automatic email responder. So I know it looks a little technical at first, but if you just take it step by step, it really is a great process.
All right. What do you guys think of that one? Pretty easy.
It looked a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, TJ.
I have a question. So when you put in your email, they don't have to type in your email anywhere, do they? Because
No.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about it. It just automatically goes to whatever email you've designated.
Okay.
John, I tried that this afternoon, and I don't know if it was just my Wi-Fi connection or what, but it just sort of froze up, and it never finished sending the email to me, and I don't have any idea what. It seemed simple, but evidently I don't know. And I haven't had time since I got home tonight to, well, I just looked on my phone and the message never came through. So then I had a glitch somewhere.
Yeah, I just go and do it again. It's really a process. Sometimes, I don't know, I have the problem with Facebook too. You'll do a post and then it just won't happen. Like, where did it go? But
Right.
I would just do it again. Yeah, if you have an intermittent, if you're doing it in the afternoon, you'll notice that you have a lot more problems with your internet in the afternoon, especially around where we live. There is the Columbus and the Tryon Peak Tower is like, I don't know, like 200% of capacity. So all the kids get off of school and there's no internet.
Right. Yeah.
Ours
And then the other thing that I don't know if I missed this last week and I just haven't caught up, or if you guys did that before I got on tonight, but the Zapier thing, that doesn't ring a bell with me.
we haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that'll be next. That actually is probably the most challenging thing is the Zapier. It's not that big of a deal if you just take it one step at a time, but there's a bunch of steps but once you get it down though, the zaps are really cool. So what the zap is going to do is it reads your emails. So it sees when new email comes in, and then it transfers that information onto your list, and then GMass, it makes GMass send out the automatic emails. So it's the automated glue in between all the different things that bring it all together. But there's a bunch of different zaps, so we just show you really exactly what to do and how to make them happen though.
Okay. So I feel like I've done a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I've started this, and with all the different steps that we went through, but I feel like there's just little pieces and parts that I'm missing of certain things. Like I went back today and was kind of looking through some of the sheets that I sent to Google Sheets, and I tried to get those set up. I don't know how they get converted once we send them from someplace else, from another database. I know we set up the CMR lists and all that kind of stuff, but I just feel like there's one link that I'm missing to a lot of the little different pieces and parts.
So do you have the different lists? Do you have a different lists of contacts?
What I have in there, one that I think was sent from my cell phone, and then another one I sent from a Excel spreadsheet. But I had to go in and delete a lot of stuff that we didn't really necessarily want, like all the phone numbers or whatever, that kind of stuff, and try to get that to where it looks more like the GMAS spreadsheets we set up.
Yeah, you don't need to delete them, but you do need to put them in the right columns and get the columns so that they match up. And then you're really cutting and pasting, you know, from one spreadsheet into a next. If you've got different Excel spreadsheets or different spreadsheets, you say you're sending them in there. You mean are you uploading them into your Google Drive? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I could tell you the right terminology. I mean, it was one of the videos, you walked us through it. And
Uploaded database. Do you remember? Right.
what's that?
What was that?
Oh, I don't know. I just heard somebody else talking, and I wasn't sure if they were adding to the conversation. I'd have to pull it up and look at it again to probably explain it better.
Yeah, well, we can take a look at it individually and just see what you've got and how we can pull it together. But basically what you want to do is you just want to try to get as much information as you can onto one list that's in your Google Drive. And then from there is you're going to be able to pull, you know, access that really from your Gmail. And we do that using the GMAS add-on. So once you load GMAS, you can see, and I think, have any of you guys been able to send test emails using GMAS and pulling it off of your list?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Well, you know, that may be our next thing that we really work on. Yeah, we're got 2 minutes left. Next week, what I'll do is I'll really open up my screen and just do that. Because I wonder if I can just do it real quick.
So John, you said we're better off if we just put everything into one big giant list, everybody into one big giant list, and then split it up out of there.
Yes. Yes.
Instead of like, you know, you've got your, whatever it is, your Christmas list of everybody you contact at Christmas time, or everybody you've got from, you know, I don't know, whatever different aspects of your life, and then just throw them all into one big pot.
Well, I would segregate them out. Like when you're putting them in, I would put that Christmas list. You really don't have to. You know, the ultimate goal of this is really to have a business list.
Right.
Yeah, this is probably not going to work because I can't. It's like hidden behind this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the Zoom program is like hiding the controls. So I'll just try to get to it next week when I can get it all set up.
Okay.
Stop share. Yeah. Because it'll make a lot more sense with you if I show you. Okay, this is what it's going to look like. You know.
Right.
This is what we're going to end up with, and then take you through the steps. I was really actually thinking about, and what do you guys think if we could do this, is if we tried to do the Zap part of it, where I would show you what to do, and then I go, okay, you guys, you go do it on your computer like right now, and then come back when you've got it done. What would you think of that?
That'd be good.
I think it might work really well.
Because then you can come back and go, wait a minute, I'm got stuck here, you know, and I think we can share it. Do you guys have the capability to share screens? I think I can make that available.
Oh, we probably have the capability if we know how.
Yes, actually.
Yes, we do. There's a way to share the screen. Yes,
Yeah,
there
it says
is. There's a
multiple
little
participants
button
can
down
share
at the
simultaneous. Yes.
bottom. There's a button down at the bottom you can put share screen.
Yep. Yeah, I can give access to you guys to share your screen. So you could go like, okay, I'm going to share my screen. This is what I'm doing, and I'm stuck. And then we can all look at it and go, oh, yeah, all right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that might be really beneficial because, you know, if we on some of the other things, like, you know, we do them at 7:00, and then, you know, we don't get back to that video until Friday, and then you pretty much have to go back and like rewatch the whole thing all over again and keep watching it in bits and pieces because you don't retain it by only seeing it once or
No. And that's really what you really should do is you really should, and like each step, each small video is separately recorded in the portal in the week. So you can go and watch each video, you know, individually. So you don't have to go through the whole 2-hour thing. And then you should like turn it on and go, okay, then I'm going to do this one step and turn it on, watch it for, you know, the first thing that you do, then pause it, go do it, and then go back to it when you got that done and pause it. If you can't get it done, go and rewind it and do each individual thing that way. Watch it all the way through the first time.
And I've done that on several of them.
Yeah. I don't think anybody can do it.
Right.
You know, just watch it once and then go do it, except for maybe Quinn, my son.
Not this girl.
So, all right. Well, we're at the end of the time, and this has been fun. This has been a really good one, I think. And what do you guys think?
Very good. Thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome. I have to go back and listen.
Well, it takes a lot. You know, when you take a 2-hour file, it takes a lot to. I have to upload it. Then to my computer, and then I have to upload it into a YouTube, and then I have to take the YouTube and upload it into the portal. So those are 3 gigantic moves that takes me a little while to get it, you know, all moved into the portal. I try to do it as fast as I can so you guys can review it. But the 2 videos that we watched today, I think, are already in there, and I've started segregating them into, like, the first one was List Builder 1, the Facebook one, and then the conversations is in the conversation module number 5. So I've started just dividing them up into their modules as opposed to putting them on the weeks. But the weeks are going to be for the weekly replays. But yeah, so those 2 things are already in there if you want to go and get at them before I can get the replay in. But I'll get the replay up as soon as I can.
Perfect. Thank you.
We appreciate all you do, John, and all your time that you take to do this and try and help us, you know, walk us through this. I know it can be frustrating probably, but we appreciate your patience and time.
Oh, it's my pleasure, really. Right. This has been great. Been a lot of fun.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.